Welcome to another edition of Vendasta's weekly webinar. My name is Amy. I'm the Go-to-Market Director for Marketplace. This week, I'm excited to talk to you about Data-Dynamix email marketing. It's our newest Marketplace product. Marketplace is your single source of truth for all products that Vendasta offers. The Marketplace team works hard to bring together the best solutions and the best rates for you, our partners. Now, access to Marketplace lives right in Partner Center. This is the dashboard, the portal that you hopefully access every day. In the navigation on the left, go to Marketplace and then Products to start shopping. And every Marketplace product is an avenue for additional revenue for your agency. So let's get right to it. Data-Dynamix email marketing is a permission-based, targeted email marketing platform that delivers real results. It fits perfectly into the content category. So first off, I want to share with all of you a little bit about the company Data-Dynamix. With me today, I have Jude, the Vice President of Sales Training and Development for Data-Dynamix. Jude, thank you for being with us.
Hi, Amy. Thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure.
Now, tell me a little bit about yourself and, more importantly, the company Data-Dynamix.
I definitely will. My name is Jude Fontenot. I live in Denver, Colorado, and I have been with Data-Dynamix on a second round for 7 years. Very excited to be with Data-Dynamix, and it's been a decent stretch over these last 7 years. Data-Dynamix, as illustrated here, was founded in 1999, so we were very happy to be celebrating our 20th year in business this year. As a licensed list brokerage, founded in 1999 with a main emphasis on direct mail, SMS text message marketing. We have forged and continue to maintain relationships with large national and international data aggregators like Axiom, InfoUSA, and so forth. But what we're here today, Amy, to talk about is targeted email, and it is the lessons that we've learned and developed and harnessed from our traditional marketing experience that we've applied to email and now the broader digital space. So that's kind of a real high-level review of Data-Dynamix.
Wonderful. Thank you, Jude. Now, let's start with the good stuff. Usually I leave it for the end, but I want to get to the actual offer right off the bat. So we've done something different with Data-Dynamix. The product is free. That's right, I said free. With it, you can explore the dashboard, create your email content, and most importantly, compile the list of consumers you'd like to target. Once you're done with all of that, and both the Vendasta and Data-Dynamix team are here to help if you have any questions, you activate the add-on. So that's so that the email you've created actually gets sent to your target audience. Sending the email you've created to 25,000 relevant and targeted recipients costs $450. This is a one-time cost per campaign. So again, the product is called Data-Dynamix Email Marketing, right here in the top. The add-on, which lives within the product page, is called Email Marketing to 25,000 recipients. The product itself is free, the base product, to allow you, our partners, and the clients you're serving to explore, build content, create a list, and then the add-on, which is sending it out, is what costs money. So the recommended retail price for an email campaign of this magnitude and specificity is around $900. So while your wholesale cost is $450, you have at least a 50% margin to work with. Now, keep in mind that $900 number is just recommended. You know your clients best. You know the businesses you work with best. And maybe if you're managing all aspects of this for them, including creating the content and even more, you could mark this up even higher. Now, with technology moving at the speed of light these days, or so it seems, why emails? First off, email is used worldwide. By 2020, nearly half of the world's population will be taking advantage of it. And it's not that the other half doesn't want to, they just can't quite yet. The takeaway here is that if you're doing business in the developed world, and likely most of you watching are, Your business clients and their customers are already using email. Email will get your clients a return on their investment. If it's done right, for every $1 spent on email marketing, you can expect an average return of $38. The takeaway here is that the return on investment is pretty massive. And everyone's on social these days. We get it, we know it can't be ignored, but did you know that email has higher conversion rates than social media and search combined? Social media just can't compete with that. Your clients' customers are twice as likely to sign up for an email list than interact on social media. So keep that in mind. Now, I can definitely attest to this one. Consumers want to hear from the businesses they're interested in. 61% of consumers enjoy receiving promotional emails weekly, and 38% would like emails to come more frequently. So recently, I subscribed to a local boutique's email list. I didn't realize that they were affiliated with a few other businesses. I think it's the same parent company. And when I received emails from the affiliated retail outlets that I've never heard of before, I was pleasantly surprised. I am the target customer for all of their stores, so it totally worked. With Data-Dynamix email marketing, you choose the target demographic, and we'll get to this in just a little bit. So keep this in mind if your local business clients are worried that their potential new customers may get turned off by getting emails or too many emails. It's kind of the opposite. Now, finally, email marketing is the best way to reach a mobile audience. Why? Because over 88% of smartphone users, actively check email on their phones. This makes it more popular than any other app for both iPhones and Android. The takeaway here is that Data-Dynamix email marketing is an easy and cost-effective alternative to something like in-app advertising or digital advertising. Now, there are many email marketing platforms out there. What makes this ideal for you? What makes this different? This is where I'm going to pass it off to Jude. All right, Jude, you should have that.
Okay, thank you very much, Amy. All right, I'm going to move ahead with presenting. So, Amy, thank you very much for the background. Now let's dive right in and expand upon the information that Amy was so kind enough to provide. Why Data-Dynamix? Quite simply, everyone, the best data delivers the best results. Keep in mind that data, the best data, just doesn't come from a static situation in a static state. Accessing data, but accessing it through multiple layers and multiple channels, being sourced through multiple accessible points, helps us really establish and very, very basic demographics and geographic information, but further expand and make a more robust customer profile by gleaning information based on those sources, whether or not they are questionnaires and surveys, or simply making inferences from sources such as print or online subscriptions. So in general, 5 to 7 of these sources have been applied to each email address in the Data-Dynamix database. So once the data in the email records have been accessed, that's when we actually start to verify and opt these records in. Extensive email verification process that we'll speak to in detail in the coming slides, but keep in mind that this database is not static. It is a living, breathing entity. Data is refreshed and appended weekly. Opt-out and unsubscribe maintenance is performed on a weekly basis as well. And furthermore, the entire database is deconstructed and rebuilt every 60 to 90 days. All the while, frequency monitoring is being performed to make sure that individuals who have opted into this service are engaging with it, because it does not do us, our partners in Marketplace, any good to send messages to subscribers who have proven to be unresponsive. And then lastly, analytics, really demonstrating the value and the engagement. There's detailed broadcast reports that are provided after 7 days, but also with access through the portal, you will have hourly updates of engagement associated with every email campaign. So, data sourcing, a little more information and to expand upon what I already spoke to. So, this information is gathered from the public sector. Over 130 million households, over 200 million individuals. But while this information is available in the public sector, learning how to access it, how to cleanse it, how to opt it in, and then doing that refresh on a regular basis makes this a very valuable tool and makes the recency very impactful for your clients' campaigns. So some data sourcing. Now I've cited questionnaires, surveys, product registrations, etc. All how we develop the demographic and behavioral and psychographic information so that you can hone in on that very detailed, specific, top-tier wish list that your client wants to reach. I apologize, fingers got a little jumpy there. But another key differentiator between Data-Dynamix and other email marketing solutions is that making sure these messages are delivered to consumers in a specific location is very, very important. With Data-Dynamix's experience in the direct mail space, we have applied geo-tracking tools to make sure that messages do go to the proper market. Using the U.S. Postal Service's NCOA database, that's the National Change of Address database, helps ensure that these messages are going to people in the zip code, county, or broader designated market area that you and your client want to target. Now, to expand upon the verification and opt-in process, I won't actually use any terminology such as double, triple, quadruple opt-in. That's a bit of puffery. At a very basic level, there are three objectives in the opt-in process that Data-Dynamix wants to perform. One, make sure that email addresses are active and valid. Two, make sure that they belong to the person or maintained by the person associated with that record and it's not a fraudulent catfish account of some sort. And then three, make sure that those individuals want to receive promotional messages from our organization. Now, those are just three touches that I'm citing, but they're very important. And we also use deliverability and tracking software such as return path, fresh address to make sure that these individuals, these messages are being delivered to the appropriate persons. Now let's get right to it. How is this performed? That's right, those 5 easy steps right there is what this all boils down to. So it's a very, very simple solution. We'll go into each of these steps in detail when we conduct a demo of the portal. But remember, step 1 is submitting account requests to determine available email records. Step 2 is building an HTML creative. There's a very simple templated drag and drop assembly tool in the Data-Dynamix portal. But if you would like to build a more responsive and kind of a prettier HTML creative, you can definitely load your HTML creatives yourselves. And we do have guidelines for those, for building those creatives housed in the portal. And then ordering and testing. From the moment that all assets are received and all details are entered into a campaign, there's traditionally a 3 business day time frame for processing these orders, but we can usually execute them very quickly, even in half the time. Pending approval of the test email, we proceed with step 4, delivering the live campaign to new prospective customers. And then lastly, reporting. Detailed reporting, as I said earlier, is provided 7 days after, and that will be in a white labeled manner and a client-facing report. Okay, so moving along, targeting. We're going to talk about targeting in 2 manners. First off, being the top sales verticals for email marketing, this is where I really recommend you kind of focus your efforts. Everything listed here should not be a surprise. Automotive, healthcare, education, real estate or home building, all represent probably a very, the first or a close second tier target audiences or target groups, excuse me, for email marketing. And the rest of the top 10 listed there are all very good segments to focus on. But in terms of how to apply targeting to really reach that audience, geography, demography, socioeconomics, behaviors and interests. However you need this data broken down, we can do that. And if you have a very specialized request for a very a niche target audience that we cannot apply, we will tell you as much, but then we'll work to develop a kind of a workaround or peripheral approach to reach a comparable audience. And everyone just know that we are not relegated by the types of targeting that's listed here. At any given time, there are 200 plus filters available for really honing in on that target audience. And we can definitely have a tier 1, tier 2, and a multi-tiered target audience at that. So think big and don't lose the forest for the trees. Building the creatives. At the end of the day, we want to really provide a very distinct call to action and incentive to recipients of these emails so that they can engage with your client on their website. At the end of the day, everyone, emails do not sell products. People sell products. What we want to do is drive, engage potential customers to your client's website, and that's where they can interact with your client, peruse inventory, look at financing opportunities, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then lastly, like I cited, we do provide very detailed reporting. What we're looking at here is actually an enhanced version of the reporting that we provide after 7 days. This is called quick map reporting. So for those account executives who might not be the most proficient with HTML coding, we will very clearly indicate what section of a creative was tied to a certain link that directed to a specific destination URL, so that after the campaign wraps up, your team can go back and really close the circle, close that loop, and review the engagement and activity with the client. This is a very beneficial tool because when you're looking at an offer, and if you see that a specific call to action drove the lion's share of activity, it would make sense if we prioritize and make that specific call to action more prominent in subsequent deployments. So this is what we call the click map reporting. And here is an example of an email template, and we're going to kind of review this template in 3 sections: top, middle, and bottom. And especially when we get to the bottom, we're going to kind of speak to how social media integration, and to Amy's point earlier, can complement email campaigns. Now, here's a great example of a very clear call to action in the header of an email. It directs to a client's website, but specifically scheduling an appointment. Very bottom, 3 different and distinct calls to action regarding inventory or renewal. Why you should renew, look at windows, and look at doors based on this provider's inventory. The middle part of the creative. The Renewal by Anderson graphic on the right, showing a picture of a nice house with big windows, kind of look like eyes peering out. That is has a hyperlink embedded directing to the company homepage. On the left, we see 5 paragraphs of text. So this is static. There's no links embedded in that section. Slight kind of side note, you always want to make sure that you don't add much more text than what we see here. There are distinct graphics to text ratios and best practices, but keep in mind, more than half of these emails will be viewed on mobile devices, and people are not going to read too much text. That's why you don't want to have too much in here. Engage or make whoever does engage, drive them to the advertiser's website. That's where they can interact with the client. And then the very bottom, very clear call to action, schedule a window consultation, much like contact us directly below that. But keep in mind that email is going to drive exposure and branding and to a very targeted and established audience. But having secondary tactics to further drive traffic to their Facebook, Google+, YouTube, Pinterest, or any other social media platform is a very good tactic to employ. And with all that said, here is another reporting example that we will provide. This is the standard broadcast report that's going to really list the name of the advertiser, the quantity of emails, from line, subject line, the demographics and geographics that went into establishing the target audience. But what's really important is the actual engagement. A hard count of opens and clicks, and then the broader open and click rate, here 11.61% open rate and just over a 2% click rate. But at the very bottom, and much like with the click map reporting that we saw earlier, we have detailed and itemized engagement by link. So this is a standard broadcast report. And with that said, while we have about 11.6% and just over 2% open click rate, Data-Dynamix does have guarantees of engagement in place that we've been able to take to market based on quality data, best practices, and using all the tools at our disposal. And that is an 8%, that's 8% open rate and 1% click rate. If either that 8 open or 1 click rate does not actualize, we will perform a make good follow-up campaign at no charge. But with that said, we usually deliver around a 12% open rate and a 2% click rate. So we always try to under-promise and over-deliver. So kind of wrapping up why this is a superior platform, some very key product differentiators to keep in mind. That NCOA verified data, national change of address database that the U.S. Postal Service maintains. It's a great way to make sure that the messages that are being delivered are going to the audience that in a certain market that you want to target. A very detailed, at least three-tiered email verification and opt-in process. Second to none database maintenance, and the fact that this is a single charge. There's no for deploying a campaign, no charge for multiple data selects, no charge for suppression of an internal marketing list, and no charge for multi-segments. So very good differentiators that speak to the value of this service. And again, that guarantee, 8% open rate, 1% click rate. We are always available with along with our partners at Vendasta Marketplace to provide analysis and review an original campaign, because if a campaign does underperform everyone, we don't want to just send the same offer to the same group and hope for different results. What we will do is sit down and review that campaign and make sure that it's done correct the second time. So with that said, I'm going to switch gears really quickly, and we're going to actually go into a demo of the product. So what I have here, everyone, I have gone ahead and logged in before the webinar actually commenced. And from here at the My Products page, simply go to Data-Dynamix Email Marketing right here, and it's going to very quickly take us right into the Data-Dynamix portal. And you'll notice request account, step 1, build an email creative, step 2, ordering and testing, and then reviewing. These are those steps that I cited earlier. And you can actually commence just on any of these buttons. Also know that there are drop downs to reach the same sections. So what I'll do now is I'm just going to click on request account now. Very simple instructions how to request account, and also slight segue. Anything that is not clear to you, there are video tutorials, guidelines for developing creatives, and even for submitting contact us and a help ticket to our support team. But from the account request perspective, everyone, we're going to establish a geography, apply a few demographic segments, and then plug in some labeling details. Just know that from a geographic perspective, you do not have to select zip codes, radius, national, state, county, or MSA DMA. You can use one or multiple. I always like to take a zip code approach. So what I'm going to do is start out with 90210, everyone's favorite Southern California zip code. You could plug in multiple zip codes in here. This is a great example of maybe demonstrating that you want to target a 5-mile radius from 90210 in Beverly Hills, 10, 15, etc., or maybe a tiered radii. I'm going to go ahead and check this box at the bottom, indicating this is the that'll be the geographic area applied to each of the demographic subsets in step 2. So here I'm going to move into targeting B2B or B2C. Please know there's no cross B2B and B2C targeting, meaning I could not target business owners who suffer from allergies. That sort of data is not available. Everything operates in their own silos from the B2B or B2C perspective. But most of the time, you're going to be in the B2C arena, and most of the time, you will begin your targeting underneath the broad verticals section, because here is where the age of a consumer, maybe 18 to 34, gender, maybe targeting the ladies, and household income, maybe it's top earners of $150,000 a year. And remember what I cited earlier, there's no charge for demographic selects. So if you really want to drill down and perform some kind of pre-financial qualification for your client, go ahead and do so. Maybe this client is an auto dealer targeting auto intenders. I go ahead and click Add Request. Very important to click the blue Add Request button in the lower left-hand corner, because that will provide us with our first count bucket. And again, the tiered geography from that zip code will be applied to every segment. It's always good to have multiple things in place. Maybe for the second count bucket, we want to lower our household income qualifier to really broaden the audience. Maybe we want to open up credit score qualification to everyone except those with poor credit. Again, go down and add request, and here is our second target audience, and so forth. You can have 2, 3, 4, 5, or 10 of these count buckets in place, but again, with a standard quantity of fixed quantity at that of 25,000 emails, you probably don't need more than about 3 or 4 of these count request buckets in place. So for our purposes today, everyone, I'm going to leave it at just these 2 counts, and I'm going to proceed with the final step in the count request process, and I'm just going to type in demo for marketplace, but this is where you would want to put either the industry or the name of the advertiser so that you can monitor where the count request is in the queue momentarily. Only the field with the asterisk next to it is required. You do not have to plug in any information here or here or here. One last point, additional documents. Again, not required. This is used for in the event that you have maybe 50 zip codes you wanted to plug or filtered data within. You can drag and drop or upload a specific file to this files to upload section, and we'll look at that attachment for the geo breakout. Do not forget to click submit, which I'm doing right now, because this will provide notification that your account request has been submitted, sales rep has been notified, and will respond within 24 hours. That 24-hour time frame really is a kind of just standard default time period that we cite. Most of these count requests will be returned within 3, 4, or 5 hours. So while that's how we initiated the count request, you will receive emails or an auto-generated email to your inbox. However, you can also go to Show Count Requests, and here is where you can monitor how count requests, pretty much where they are in the queue. Click on Demo for Marketplace, move over to the Preview section. Here's the criteria that we established. When this is finished processing, you again will receive the counts and the results to your inbox, but this account request that is in the from the customer field, you will be moved to the completed section. Once that's there, you can click on that, click on the name of your account request for results, and then monitor the access the results from the preview section, and even go into the communication field if you need be, MO for revised accounts. Go down to actions, contact customer service representative, and that will move an email or account request, excuse me, from the completed section back up to from the customer. Now, because this is a demo, we actually don't have anything in the completed section, but trust me, that's how the process works. So that's step one, submitting an account request, building an email creative, templated solutions right here, very easy to work with. Simply drag and drop any or upload any fields that you would like to. Check this will not come stocked with images. You will have to upload them yourself. You can very easily add a destination link. Select the green box, and there's an image. From here, you would very easily plug in some title, a header title, Nissan of Los Angeles, for example. Plug in any URLs and so forth. Further expand upon brand. Always want to save your work. I'll just say demo for marketplace. Please keep the file, save the file with just simple alphanumeric characters. Save, and from here you can even preview how this will render and so forth. I can even send myself a test email to see how it's going to look. So this is a very quick and simple template assembly tool. So I'm not going to spend too much time here. It's very easy to utilize. You can replicate any field, move them around as needed, or remove if needed. So that's just one quick option. I suspect a lot of agencies and resellers will have their own design teams, and you can actually upload your in-house built creatives yourself. And that's what I'm going to focus on moving forward to the third step, which is ordering a campaign. Order details. Let's just say this is for Vendasta Marketplace. No asterisk here or here, so we will disregard that for the time being. Email blast details. Here's where the fun begins, all the good stuff. From line, let's just go with that Nissan of Los Angeles theme. Subject line, on test drive, a new SUV. There are emojis or special characters that you can plug in here, but please be judicious with the application of emojis or special characters that is. Preview text is not a required field. That's because it's only Gmail and Outlook that really populate the first 60 to 90 characters in an HTML file, and that'll populate in the preview pane. So I'm going to leave that empty now. Again, this does automatically default to 3 business days from today, but I'm going to push it up 1 day easily enough. You can schedule according to time and time zone. I'm going to plug in the demographic criteria. Maybe there were 10,000 emails based on the first count set that we received. It was men, HHI, 100K and above. Maybe count 2 was 15,000 emails based on maybe women, HHI, 100K and above, and so forth. So important thing to glean from this point, everyone, is that you can segment out your audience as needed. 15,000, and 10,000 equals the broader 25,000 quantity for this campaign. Specify the target market. You can send yourself, your colleagues, your family copies of the test seed list and definitely the live seed list. Everyone, please remember that this is a reach extension tool, and the only emails on a mass scale that we will deploy to are the ones that Data-Dynamix has opted in. As such, you cannot take your client's outside list that they have developed themselves and add those emails, 1,000 emails or 10,000 emails into these fields. That is a no-no and a CAN-SPAM violation. So, test seed list will receive a copy of the test email. Live seed list will receive a copy of the live deployment. Any special instructions, maybe save openers from this campaign or possible follow-up marketing. Creative files. Do not worry about creative description so much. It's really what file type is more important. If you build something from the creative ad builder tool, that templated tool I looked at earlier, like right here, demo for marketplace, that's fine. If you actually just want to upload your own HTML file, you can do that as well. Simply drag and drop, go to Vendasta. Maybe I have an independently hosted HTML file right here. I will load that. If you see the green check, that indicates that HTML file loaded properly. If you see a red X, that indicates it did not load properly, and you may have to reach out to our support desk for assistance. If you are not generating UTM codes or unique URLs for your client's campaigns, I highly recommend that you do. And if you do not want to, we will create one for you. And lastly, we do provide a plain text option. This really isn't that necessary here in 2018, but if you're working with a marketer who has a lot of experience from 2001, when plain text email marketing campaigns were more advantageous, we will load a plain text version in conjunction, and you will only be charged for the 25,000 HTML files. So the plain text version is complimentary. Very important to click Save and Exit, everyone. And we will receive a notification that says right here, thank you, your new order has been saved successfully. Don't forget, this order is just a draft. To complete your order, you will need to click the green Submit for Review button right down here under Order Actions and History. This is your chance to give this all the details a double, triple check. Let's go down and see where this order is in the blast queue. I go down to Show Blast Status. Here in Drafts, Vendasta Marketplace. I click on the PO number again. I'm going to push this down to Submitted for Review to commence the testing process. I've confirmed that all the details here are accurate. I click Submit for Review, and we'll receive another notification that says, there we go. Thank you, your order has been submitted for review, and your admin will look at it as soon as possible. Again, as soon as possible is corporate speak. Trust me, they will look at it within about 30 to 40 minutes. Back up to Show Blast Status, and we see that the Vendasta Marketplace order has moved from drafts down to Submitted for Review. So from here, everyone, the ball is in Data-Dynamix's court. We will take this order and move it into blast in testing. Now, because this is a demo, I do not have anything actually in testing, so let's everyone kind of pretend. And let's say that PO number 1009 for Vendasta Marketplace is actually in this in testing field. You've received that copy of the test email. You've confirmed that there's no typos. All the links are functioning properly. You want to approve it for deployment. You will click on the PO number of this campaign, which is in testing, everyone. In here, under Order Actions and History, will be a green Approve for Live Blast button. I click that green button, go back up to Show Blast Status, and this will move that order from in testing to approved by customer for deployment, and then it will be awaiting deployment before the scheduled date, and then it'll further move down the queue to inactive deployment and so forth. And when we see that the blast is ready for reporting, Data-Dynamix will deliver to the party who ordered the campaign that white labeled client-facing copy of the report. But like I said earlier, you can access results that are updated hourly via this section, Show Blast Results. And as I suspected, this is a demo account, so there's nothing, there's no results to look at. But this is the type of reporting that you will see also illustrated earlier. So what I've done, everyone, is we've walked from the whole process: requesting account, building an email creative, ordering and testing, and then reviewing results. So with that said, we've really kind of walked through the whole live demo and process. So as such, I'm going to turn this back over to Amy at Vendasta and make her the presenter. We're going to kind of wrap things up and then even do a little kind of role play and answer some questions. So back to you, Amy.
Sounds good. Thank you, Jude. That was invaluable to go through the dashboard and really sort of get a first-hand look at exactly how to take all those steps. Now, for everyone watching, everyone listening, a reminder that everything Jude went through, you can do that by activating the free product. When you're through all of that and you want to actually go ahead and send those out and you know they've been tested and they're cleared by the Data-Dynamix team, that's when you activate the add-on. So there's a lot you can do with this very powerful dashboard before actually committing to paying money for it, really. Thank you again, Jude. That was so helpful.
My pleasure.
Now, let's do a quick recap because Jude's gone over a lot. So here is how Data-Dynamix email marketing works. Activate the free product through Marketplace. All of you on the line, as agencies, as resellers, as media companies, you should have your own account within our platform. So a great first step is to activate this free product on your own account. You access the dashboard and start creating lists with their database. Once you're done with that, it's been tested, you've created your email content, you're happy with the creative, you can activate the add-on to send this email marketing campaign to 25,000 recipients. Oh, those are in an opposite order, I apologize. So it should be 1, 2, 4, and then 3. And the campaign is reviewed. The email is tested and it's approved based on testing. And if there's any feedback to change, you know, I talked to the Data-Dynamix team earlier, and there was a good example they had. Someone had something like 60 CTAs. You know, we don't want that. So they'll come back to you with feedback if there is any. So what does Data-Dynamix do? Just like Jude mentioned, they specialize in permission-based target email marketing with guaranteed 8% open rates and 1% click-through rate. This is really the differentiator, the guaranteed return on investment. The target demographic includes things like lifestyle, interests, behavior, and psychographic information. There is a very extensive email verification and opt-in process, and all of this is 100 CAN spam compliant. And finally, the data is refreshed and appended weekly. So this is a very clean, fresh, relevant database that you are picking from. And finally, I can't say this enough, remember the product is free, it's the add-on that has a cost. So activate Data-Dynamix email marketing on your own account to really get a feel for the dashboard and play around. Now, there's so much that you could sell this with. Email marketing can really be sold or provided to your local business clients as a bundle. You can sell it with a landing page. So send prospects to a world-class landing page with all the necessary information depending on the purpose of their email campaign. Sell along with video. Increase your email marketing engagement by adding video. And finally, something like a reputation bundle is very basic but very key. Emails will drive engagement, so make sure your reputation is good so that engagement is leading to a sale. Now, I'm going to sort of pose these questions to Jude because he has so much experience. Jude, when you're selling this, when your team is out there and working with local businesses and they say something like, oh, I don't need this, my company already does email marketing, or our agency partners are saying, my company already does email marketing. What's the sort of talk track around that?
Yeah, thanks, Amy. Now that's probably one of the first questions that I hear, and it's not a bad question, because if people, if a prospective customer says that they are already doing email marketing, 9 times out of 10 they're referring to an internal list of email addresses that they've gathered through organic methods or through customer interactions and sales. So what I do is I use that as an opportunity to establish the value of their internal database, and then conduct a value trade, pivot, and say, what if we can increase the audience based on comparable profiling? What value would that be to you? So if your client has 100 email addresses, hypothetical number, that represent roughly $1,000 in annual business, it would be very good to say, what if I could replicate that 100 email list to about 25,000 based on the same demographic audience? And then do the math and say, if those 25,000 emails achieve the same annual revenue as the 100 that you currently have, then you're demonstrating the value of going beyond their internal database and using a third-party tool to expand potential revenue. So if they're already doing email, 9 times out of 10, it's to an internal database. Use that as a great opportunity to start the needs analysis and develop value in the tactic.
Perfect. Now, this is a good one, and likely one you have lots of experience with. Someone pushes back and says, how do I know that the emails won't go to spam? What do you say to that?
Yeah, Amy, that's another great question, because making sure that these messages are reaching the inbox is of utmost priority. What we do is I really lean upon our deliverability software. And in that multi-touch process, when we're confirming the records as active, as valid, as being maintained by the person associated with that account, what we're doing is we're pinging between our domains and servers and broader email platform and the consumer's email provider. And as such, a data path is established that establishes Data-Dynamix as a trusted sender. So on top of all that, we adhere to best practices as developed by international groups like Spamhaus and senditbase.org, so that you make sure that there's nothing too spammy in the subject line, or that creatives aren't too graphics and or copy heavy that may lead to or further a message being routed to junk or spam. So best practices and opt-in process is very important to making sure that these reach the consumers.
Perfect. Now, how do I know the emails will reach people in my market? I feel like this is an easy one.
Exactly, because again, we are not just relying upon IP address tracking. Using the actual physical postal addresses associated with the consumers helps us make sure that we're reaching Jude Fontenot in Denver, Colorado, and not Jude Fontenot in Morristown, New Jersey, where he lived 10 years ago. So postal record, NCOA verification.
Perfect. And so how do I know if people see the email and actually engage with the email?
Right. At the end of the day, clients want to know that that the traffic that is associated with the campaign can be monitored and then fine-tuned. So we do provide the back-end reporting. We do that with very simple tracking pixels. But again, I highly recommend the use of UTM codes or unique URLs. And at the end of the day, one of the conversations you should be having with your clients on the front end is asking about how they monitor traffic to the website via Google Analytics, DoubleClick, TrueMeasure, whatever the case may be, but making sure that your clients are aware of traffic to their website, and then we can very easily track the source and medium associated with the email campaign.
Perfect. And last one here. I'm a local business. I'm doing all right. I'm using postcards. I'm using physical mailers to reach customers in my community. I don't need this.
Oh, yes, I can definitely say I've heard that once or twice, through the years. But luckily, again, based on our experience as a licensed list brokerage doing a lot of direct mail, one of the best things that I can cite here, Amy, is that the expense and the production cost, it really is cents on the dollar compared to traditional direct mail. So with traditional direct mail, that can cost upwards of 75 cents, a dollar plus from design to production to delivery with the postal charges, whereas this is costing a few pennies to deliver these emails. It really is cents on the dollar.
Mm-hmm.
The tracking capability of engagements is very detailed, and then you have much more precise demographic targeting capabilities than just a standard mailer across a general geographic area.
Absolutely. And I sort of refer back to something I said early on, and I'm sure you would agree, Jude, is that there's a great return on investment when it comes to email, and that tracking is really invaluable. There's no tracking with a mailer. I can't tell you how many times I get things and just throw them out. I don't even look at what the physical mail piece is. I go into the mailbox, take a handful, take my bills out, and just throw everything else away.
Yeah, sometimes a lot of that stuff does end up in the recycling bin. That is the case.
All right, so for all of you on the line listening and watching, what are the kind of things you should listen for when you're talking to your local business clients? You likely know a lot of this, but I want to go over it anyways. If you have local businesses that make great content, but they want to get in front of more people, they could take their pre-existing content and put it in the platform and then deploy emails. If they need help getting new customers, they don't have leads, they want to do email marketing, they don't, let's start with those. So they need help getting new customers, they're looking for email marketing, they don't have leads. This is perfect. This is an email marketing platform that helps to find and target, customers that would work for that local business. We know who to target, we just don't know how. That's a good one. So a term that Data-Dynamix uses is lookalike audiences or lookalike profiles. So if you have a local business client who's a coffee shop and they typically get stay-at-home moms ages 35 to 45 who drive a certain set of cars and they're able to know who their successful customers are, you can just build a similar audience within this platform and send it out to them. Maybe they're a certain geographic location. So there's a lot you can do. We love videos. Where else can we share them? Like we talked about with the recommended things to sell this with, that's another cue that you can pick up on when it comes to bringing up Data-Dynamix organically in a conversation. Now, your next steps. Hopefully you have all the information you need about Data-Dynamix email marketing. Go into Marketplace and enable the product. This will allow you to build it into a package to display in your store. And if you have any questions, I'm here, Jude is here, your partner success managers are really here. And don't forget, it's the add-on that has a cost. The product is free for you to activate. Jude, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you very much for having me, Amy. It was my pleasure.
And I'm Amy. See you all next time.